Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name, of course, is Dr. Julie Toomoon, and I am pleased to be here on this beautiful Friday. As you can tell, I am outside because it is stunning here in Michigan today, and I wanted to hop in here and have a little discussion about something. Ladies, I'm going to give you a little bit of truth. A lot of people want you to focus on a lot of external modes of control when it comes to your health and healing, and it is really easy to get caught up in those and to start thinking that it is all about this. If I just deal with this, everything will be fine. And what I can tell you is that those external modes of control are not where it's at. Your healing is something that happens from what's going on inside of you, not outside of you. And every time we go to super restrictive plans, or we think, if I just take off this 20 pounds, it's all going to be all better, I can tell you right away that we're looking in the wrong place. And the reason why I say that is that too much of the time, the means and methods that we use to get to those places actually make our situation worse. And so many times people end up being so frustrated with those results because they're not actually healthier, they're just a little bit different looking. And that's the thing, you guys, you can be skinny and be healthy, and you can be curvy and be healthy, but you cannot be cellularly exhausted and be healthy. And the problem is that so many plans and processes, especially the ones that take out tons of food, they're really restrictive, they're just holding you back from doing much of anything. You have to try to hone in on foods that you don't like, you're working your ass off, and you're just constantly going. Those plans are bound to fail because what they're doing is actually increasing the cellular exhaustion. And this is one of the biggest problems I see, is that a lot of what we're doing in life and in healing is just furthering that exhaustive pattern. And the problem is that exhaustion is the root cause of all illness, because exhaustion truly is a slow state of cell function. It's a slow decline in life force at the cell level, and therefore it's also a slow state of cell death. Now the thing is that exhaustion can set in when you're in your 20s. It can set in earlier than that too. Sadly, I'm seeing more kids developing signs of exhaustion now than I ever did before in history. But the problem is that it doesn't show up as exhaustion. So it shows up as inflammation, as chronic pain, as autoimmune diseases, as digestive problems, as thyroid problems, as adrenal problems, as sleep issues, as mood issues. Depression and anxiety are classic there as well. And so what happens is we think that it's the condition that someone gave a name to, when in reality we're dealing with a serious cell problem. And so we start doing everything from an external focus. It's like, oh, well, if it's my gut, then let me just, let me take away all these foods, let me do my probiotics, let me do my fermented foods, it's going to fix my gut. Except no one ever asked, why was the gut dysfunctional? It's because the stress is bombarding the gut like crazy. The same thing with sleep. Why am I not sleeping? Oh, well, it's that my melatonin is off. Well, that's another external focus, because in reality, it isn't your melatonin at all. It's that you're not restful because your sleep response can't be regulated because your stress response is so high, you're technically exhausted and your thyroid isn't able to keep up, and that all still goes back to this cell level. Now, another secret to this that I think so few people are willing to talk about is that this is really about the totality of the state inside of your body and how much you actually feel connected. One thing I know from having worked with so many women is that one of the big problems in healing is that truly we actually feel really disconnected. If our body is an unhappy place to be because it hurts, because we don't sleep, because we're cranky, because we're in pain, because it doesn't look and feel the way we want it to, we don't spend much time inhabiting it. We tend to try to, in fact, disinhabit it. And we end up spending a lot of time in our head, because our head feels like a safe place to be, because we've got all the chatter there that kind of works out the scenarios that make it feel really good to be there. And we just think it's our bodies that is dysfunctional. And that right there is a separation. And the more that we spend time in that separate space, the more we disconnect. And then we see everything as being so separate in our lives, in the world, in our body. And so then we start to encounter this state of deep disconnect. And what I know is that your cells can't heal from that space. Your organ systems can't heal from that space because it's not disconnected. It's all very much so connected. This is one of those tenets that is so prominent in classical Chinese medicine that was so key in my training, was getting the recognition that it is all really connected, and that the times that healing happens at its biggest is when people surrender into that connection and they stop trying to manipulate external forces to create a desired outcome and start to recognize where it's all connected and how it all interlinks and how the interplay is. And that's what the huge part of healing is. And that's why, you know, you can be what someone else might not consider to be the perfect body size and actually be extremely healthy, but you can't be exhausted and be healthy, because what exhaustion really is, sorry for the plane, exhaustion is actually a state of cell disconnect and spirit disconnect from inside the body. So the more tired our cells are, the more we just haven't been inhabiting them, and we've been pushing through and ignoring the signals, and we haven't been listening to the responses. And this is why people get sick. So one of the things you can do today is you can start to really just ask yourself good questions. Am I really present in this moment? Am I really present in this body? Do I have a relationship with my body that is fruitful and glorious and loving? Or am I spending a lot of time in self-judgment? And do I feel connected to the people and the nature and the world around me, or do I feel very separate? Or do I even avoid those connections because they don't feel good and I actually don't enjoy them? And then start asking those questions with regards to how you eat and how you move and how you sleep. And also ask yourself, have I been ignoring a state of exhaustion for a long time? Like I said, if you've got anxiety, depression, sleep issues, pain, digestive issues, inflammation, thyroid problems, you know, brain fog, migraines, adrenal issues, heart issues, prediabetes, you have an exhaustion problem. You don't have a blood sugar problem, you have an exhaustion problem. You don't have a thyroid problem, you have an exhaustion problem. So ask yourself, have I been dancing around the fact that I really do have a problem with exhaustion, and I've been calling it other things because I don't want to have to go down the path of saying, yeah, I'm actually really tired. Because one of the first steps in healing is to recognize, oh man, my body keeps giving me signs and symptoms that it is absolutely exhausted. And one of the things that then you can do once you recognize that is you can start asking better questions and you can start getting better help. Because it is not possible to heal exhaustion if you keep treating it from the surface, and it's not possible to get there if you keep disconnecting from it by looking everywhere else but at the real core issue. And part of that is being willing to connect with your body. Part of it is being willing to love your body again and actually trust it and actually give it the compassionate care that it really needs, and to honor that relationship, because it's really the biggest relationship in your life, right? No one else is going to be with you from the exact moment of beginning to the exact moment of end, except for this beautiful structure that you live in. And there's no way it's flawed because it is divine in origin. So it's time we started changing that relationship. So we stop treating our bodies like they're flawed and negative and always doing wrong, and start recognizing the places maybe that we've disconnected from the relationship and the ways that we haven't honored the relationship, and yet our body has shown up the entire time for us. Because it's true, if you really think about it, your body has been there for you every single moment of your life. And the times where you think it failed, it didn't fail you. It just did what it could based on the information you gave it. And if you start to look at it that way, then it's a relationship that stands repair rather than a structure that is just confusing, annoying, and broken. And that alone can change the future as it is with your cells and with your body. Because I will tell you that cells that feel safe, happy, held, heard, and nourished, they will do an unlimited number of amazing things to give you the best experience in your life. But to get there, you have to partner with them. And to partner with them, you have to start to honor the nature of the relationship and participate in ways that aren't about control, subversion, demanding, and berating your beautiful body for what it is. Those are the first steps towards freedom. So if you guys want to explore those steps in detail, because this is what I do, this is what I teach, and be able to actually heal, but also cultivate a relationship with your beautiful body that meets your expectations, then set up a call with me and we can talk about what that would look like. But otherwise, you guys have a beautiful day. You're all worth healing. Many blessings.